Name times for you. Ebihime. I don't wanna ruin what the plot of this game is. The Witcher's Daydream, because it's coming along now. But it involves this trip to the grandmother's house. I'll say that much. So we're visiting his grandmother's house. And yeah, something really weird and interesting is gonna happen. I don't want to say too much, but it's the thing that made me want to buy this game. So I was like, all right, I have to do the let's play on this because this is just too strange not to check out. So now we're finally getting to the actual plot of the game after all this nonsense. I think I've made at least an hour's worth of videos. I haven't really gotten anywhere. I phoned my grandmother after breakfast, and she sounds more than happy to accommodate me for a few days. Or at least somebody is. Luckily, I don't have much to pack. I was so tired after dinner last night, I didn't even have time to take all of my belongings out of my rucksack. I retrieved my bag from my bedroom, and then make my way downstairs. Tama is meandering around in the entrance hall by her shoes. She sniffs my sneakers curiously, her pink nose twitching, her head cocked to one side. Maybe my scent has disturbed her. Cats are incredibly territorial. It has been 8 months since I last came back here. But I smell unfamiliar to her now. Maybe she thinks I'm a stranger, a hostile invader. Oh well, Tom has never liked me anyway. Shoo, shoo. I wave a hand in Tama's direction, and she hisses, scampering off down the hallway. Her tail is stuck up in the air like an aerial, as it so often is. Stupid cat. I take a seat on the stairs and slide my shoes onto my feet. You could act a little nicer to me, you know? I don't see why she should. You're never nice to her. Oh. I glance upward, meeting my sister's narrowed eyes. It's you. Jeez, and you say Tama has personality problems. You're the one who should be acting nicer, you. And why's that? You should be more appreciative that I came to talk to you before you left. Duh. Yes, I'm overwhelmed with emotion that a goddess such as yourself deigned to materialize a mere mortal like me. Quite literally, too. I didn't hear Otoko's footsteps until she approached me. Maybe she really did materialize out of thin air. Then again, it's more like Otoko is so skinny her feet don't make any telltale noises as they touch the floor. Otoko doesn't eat much. She picks her food daintily, like a baby bird, and pushes things around in her bowl on her plate. But not very much, actually. Goes inside her mouth. Maybe she's trying to get that perfect bikini body at the end of December. Otoko might not be the nicest of girls, but you can't say she isn't dedicated. So, why are you here? Are you going to beg me not to leave? Will you miss me after all? Ha! As if. I should have known. I just came to give you this. It's so you don't starve. Aww. Otome likes us. Otoko thrusts something in my direction. A small lunchbox, wrapped up cutely in a pink and white spotted handkerchief. The handkerchief is tied at the top in a neat ribbon, keeping the separate layers of the lunchbox held together. Oh, it's so nice. It's a very sweet gesture. At least it would be if Otoko weren't scowling. But it doesn't match my younger sister at all. What is she playing at? Are you really giving this to me? Well, duh. Who else would I be giving it to? Ask a stupid question, I guess. Why are you sitting there gawping? You'll let flies in. Oh, sorry. I just didn't expect this. A cutely packaged lunch is the very last thing I'd expect Otoko to hand me. Unless the contents are poisoned, of course. Younger sisters in TV shows are usually sweet and doting. They worry about their older brothers, fuss over their health, and make them delicious food. It's a shame these girls only exist in the TV screen. My little sister is the exact opposite of that. That's why this situation is so surprising. By any chance, did you make this? No. Otoko rolls her eyes. Mom did, obviously. Oh, right. Of course. As if Otoko would ever cook for me. I'm not sure if Otoko can cook in the first place, though a lot could change in 8 months. And even if she could, she wouldn't waste her culinary prowess on me. She hates me. Well, thanks for giving it to me. It's nothing. Mom told me to. If she hadn't asked, I wouldn't have bothered. I figured. Now, take it. Hurry, hurry. Otoko shoves the lunchbox in my hand, scowling. She uses so much force, I almost drop it. Oh, so it wasn't from her in the first place. Well, that explains it. Now get going. I'm sick of looking at your idiotic face. I guess they couldn't show the mother giving us the package since they never bothered to do any art to show the mom or the dad. Well, thanks, I guess. Whatever. I rattle the lunchbox curiously with one hand. I don't know what's inside, but I can hear the sound of food sliding around, hidden from my prying eyes. What could Mom have made for my journey? There'll be rice, no doubt. That's the standard. Rolled egg omelet, too, maybe? Small hamburger steaks or fried chicken? Don't shake the lunchbox like that. You'll ruin it. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, what are you waiting for? Run along. You'll miss the train if you don't, and then you really will be stuck with me. Wouldn't that be awful? I open my mouth ready to retort, but I don't know what I should retort with. I never seem to know when I'm with Otoko. That doesn't really matter though, because she turns about on her heels and stalks off in much the same manner as Tama did earlier. If Otoko had a towel, I'm sure it would be sticking up in the air. I watch her from afar, sighing. Thanks for your concern. Well, I can always look on the bright side. I doubt my relationship with my lovely sister can get any worse. If you're already at rock bottom, there's no place you can go other than up, right? Ha 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 ha. My train journey is relatively unremarkable and would be perfectly silent were it not for the rattling of the old train's wheels against the track. I'm one of the only people sitting in this old juddering car. There's a woman with brown hair holding a banquet of white lilies on her lap and a man with a young boy, his son presumably, resting against his shoulder. A stuffed bear clutched to his chest, but that's all. Otherwise, the carriage is utterly deserted, just like the flat, featureless countryside that speeds past us. I stare aimlessly out of the windows, which are frosted over with powdered snow icing. Powdered snow icing, okay. The rice fields and hedgerows are pure white. All the trees have been stripped of their leaves. The cool wind runs through them, making them shiver. The unused hundreds sway precariously above my head. Why are their handrests on an old train like this? Nobody needs to stand. There are always free seats available. Not enough people live around here. There aren't any houses, just fields. The handrests seem a lot like a useless expense, rocking pointlessly to and fro with the motions of the train. It's cold inside the train compartment, and my every exhalation of air mists up the windows. The young boy clutching the bear mumbles incoherently in his sleep. A strand of drool drips slowly from the corner of his mouth, and his father wipes it away with a crumpled tissue. This tender, gentle gesture makes me think of my mother, and how she would baby me when I was that boy's age. She still babies me, of course, though I'm almost 20, but it really isn't the same. I'm getting older, and nobody can stop the inevitable march of time. During the long journey which lasts a good half hour longer than it has any right to, I eat my lunch. Mom did a wonderful job, just like usual. There's brown rice, as I expected. Mom favors the brown rice over white. She says it has more flavor, accompanied with rolled egg omelets, cherry tomatoes, crispy fried chicken, and slices of apple. Mom used to make lunches like this for me back when I was in elementary school. If I ignored my reflection in the train's window, I could almost fool myself into believing I'm a small child again. I closed the lid on my empty lunchbox and set it to my lap, resting my fingers on the box. I turn my head and look outside the window at the sugary snow clinging to each and every surface. I feel like I'm trapped inside a snow globe. The biggest snow globe ever to have been created. When the train finally pulls into the station with an unpleasant screech of brakes and a flurry of powdered snow, I almost feel remorseful. I was enjoying my journey, and I wasn't the only one. The woman with the lilies jolts, her eyes open. I think she was starting to nod off, clinging to her slightly crushed bouquet like some sort of talisman. The little boy with the stuffed bear jerks wide awake likewise. He glances about the almost empty train compartment and the abandoned train station and blinks. His eyes fill with tears. Then he starts to cry. I don't really blame him. I used to feel like crying whenever my parents took me to this tiny village too. It's so unkempt and run down. It only inspires vague, uneasy feelings of depression. The dilapidated old train station, though station might be a bit generous when there's only one platform, tempers one's expectations for the village beyond it perfectly. It's dull and desolate and almost entirely removed from the real world. All the same, I think I've gained a newfound appreciation for peace and quiet living in Tokyo. It's relaxing, even if the young boy's tears aren't. The boy's dad leans over, attempting to console him, but I pay them little heed. I get to my feet, pulling my luggage out from the rack above my head. It's time to get going. My grandmother greets me cheerfully when I arrive at her home. Grandmother, sorry. She rattles off all the usual pleasantries while I take off my shoes in the entrance. How much she missed me, how happy she is to see me, and how I'm welcome to stay with her for as long as I like. No picture of the grandmother, huh? That's kind of annoying. Once my shoes are removed and lined up beside my grandmother's winter boots, she ushers me into the living room. It's not until we're both seated beneath the kotatsu, the heater beneath warming our feet, that she says the fateful line all grandmothers say to their grandchildren when they haven't seen them in a few months. Oh, they do have a grandmother. My, you really have grown. I thought for a second they weren't going to show her. It's as predictable as clockwork. I wonder if there's some kind of script that grandparents operate from, or maybe an obscure law. Because I mean, they don't have the mother and the father, so they might not have the grandmother either. And as I ponder this, I look down at myself and frown. Have I really grown taller? Oh yes, definitely. To be quite honest, I can't see any difference. I think my grandmother's being a bit too optimistic. Either that or she's shrunk during the last few months, which isn't beyond the realm of possibility, actually. Strange things happen to our bodies as we get older. I think I look the same as always. Maybe to you, because you see yourself in the mirror every day. It's hard to notice change when it creeps up on you. I guess. It's different for me. I haven't seen you in 8 months, and you shoot up like a bean sprout. I think Mom said something like that yesterday, too. Hisako did. Yeah. Then I'd take her word for it. She has a good eye, that woman. Dad didn't seem to notice, though. Well, Kaname wouldn't. He can't see more than 5 feet past his own face. For all of Hisako's smarts, I don't think if she made the right decision when she married my son. Though as Kaname's mother, I'm glad she did. He needs a woman who can help guide him in my absence. Right. My voice trails off. I'm not sure what to add to that. My grandmother is a strange woman. She likes teasing people, particularly my dad, and she jokes around so often it's hard to tell when, if ever, she's being serious. She reminds me a little of a fox, actually. She's easily as devious. I sometimes wonder how she managed to raise a straightforward man like my father. Anyway, would you like some green tea? I can always brew you a cup. Oh, you don't have to. I don't want to cause any trouble. Taking care of my beloved grandson is never any trouble. I might be old, but I'm not that old. She has a point. Grandma Umeko might be in her 80s. Wow. But she's as energetic as a woman half her age. Yeah, I wouldn't guess that she's 80. I would think she's, well, she's an anime character. But yeah, she looks great for 80 still. Her spirit is very much alive. I would have guessed maybe 60, 50. But her body betrays her years. Her fingers are long and skinny, her face ingrained with wrinkles, and her eyes would be horribly unfocused without the aid of her glasses. Despite all this, however, my grandmother pulls herself to her feet with a smile betraying no weakness. For such an old woman, her tenacity is quite impressive, but I'm worried all the same. You don't need to make tea for me, I can always help you. I push my palms against the surface of the old kotatsu, ready to get my feet, but now that will never do. Sit down, dear. You are the guest, and I see you so rarely these days. I want to take care of you while I have the chance. I'll get the tea for you in a moment. Right. Well, thank you for your hospitality. You don't need to be so formal, dear. We're family. Hahaha. Sorry. You don't need to apologize either. So, I catch myself before I can make the same mistake twice, and my grandmother smiles fondly. You really are Hisako's son. He's very polite, too. A model woman, in fact. I think you're more like her than my Kaname. She's very polite. Hisako is his daughter, right? The daughter-in-law. Is that a good thing? It is what it is. No matter who you are, you're still at the end of you're still at you at the end of the day, right? So the tea, you do like green tea, don't you? You'll have to forgive my poor memory, but it's been such a long time. I've probably forgotten. Green is fine. Good. It's all I have at the moment anyway. Yukinari always loves my tea, but oh well, that's in the past. Now, would you look at me rabbiting on? I need to get that kettle brewing. Yukinari, that must be her husband, maybe, who died. The work of a hostess is never done. My grandmother pads out to the living room, her footsteps cushioned by her cream slippers. Cream? I guess that's the color, right? I began to glance around my grandmother's absence, letting the heat of the kotatsu soothe my weary feet and my aching legs. My grandmother's home is quintessentially Japanese. The walls are supported with wood, the floors made from tatami mats, and the doors are sliding screens. Alright, I'm gonna assume that this screen shift just now is a save. And I'm gonna stop the game and see if I can get back to this point. So let's do that now. If it's not a save, I may try to go a little bit further and see if I can get to the save point. So I think it'll just be more trouble to try to do it later. Reading so much really makes me sleepy, which is good because I think I could use a little nap. And I will go do that momentarily. Yep, there it goes. Quintessentially Japanese, the walls are supported with wood, floors made from tatami mats, and the doors are sliding screens. Which makes this the perfect stopping point because the game has saved apparently. Yeah. So we will stop here. See y'all next time. This has been A Winter's Daydream. And it is making me want to go have a daydream. Let's go do that. See y'all next time. This kind of architecture feels almost rustic after my time spent in Tokyo. My apartment in Tokyo has a distinctly Western feeling. There are no tatami floors, and there's not much wood either. There are a lot of smooth, shiny plastic surfaces, however, and I sleep in a bed instead of a futon. This old house is as far away from my apartment as it's possible to get, and it looks the same as always. Oh. Good night. The same pictures hang on the walls, the same books line the shelves, and the same wooden fruit bowl rests atop the kotatsu. The only object in this room that eschews the Japanese sensibilities is a French doll sitting on a small table by the bookcase. The doll has blonde hair tied back in neat ringlets, blue eyes fringed with long lashes, and small pouty lips. Pouty, huh? Jesus. You're really giving a lot of detail on this doll. She wears a dress made of silk, real silk, I think, with matching shoes and socks. I think her name is Lizette. Dude, you're super into this doll. My grandparents bought Lizette when they went on holiday to Europe more than 50 years ago. I don't care. I don't care about the fucking doll.